Hey everybody, good afternoon. How you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to briefly bring you an update on the Tupac Shakur murder investigation case. Excuse me. Back in 1996, I remember being in high school. I actually remember what I was doing. I was at my job. I worked at a sub shop when I heard about the shooting of the rapper then Tupac Shakur. He was very popular. He was very famous. He was very loved across the country. Sometimes when you have different rappers in different areas, they'll locally be loved, but he was loved in California or across the country for his music and his lyrics. He had become a crossover artist, so he was filming, so he was in movies. He was one of the few artists that was able to cross over into a different genre outside of just music. I remember seeing him in movies like Poetic Justice, where he was the love interest. So his shooting and then his ultimate death impacted the African American community. I can remember just being very sad, a lot of people sad, and there was so much violence in rap music at the time. So I just wanted to give a brief update on what has happened with the murder investigation. They have an arrest. The police detailed, and I shared these articles on the Hidden Horror Facebook page. They detailed the arrest through a press conference. I'm not going to share any of the press conference. You can watch it if you want to. But they had focused on four actors, only three being alive at this time. Excuse me, only one being alive at this time that they were able to arrest. But the other three actors have passed on. So there's only one arrest. And ultimately, they feel this is the person that called the shots allegedly and orchestrated the murder, the shooting. Okay, so I'm going to read from the CNN article. It's dated. It was updated this morning at 7:50 a.m. It's titled "The Man Charged in Tupac Shakur's 1996 Shooting Death Has Long Put Himself at the Crime Scene. Here's what we know about him." As far back as 1998, Dwayne Keith Davis was telling the cable channel that he was a front seat passenger in a car from which a fellow passenger fired the shots that killed Tupac Shakur. So behind me in my background, this is the night. This picture is from the night that Tupac Shakur was shot. I'll give you a little background. There was a Mike Tyson boxing match at the MGM Grand Casino in Las Vegas. He attended that fight. After the fight, there was a physical altercation and they left the scene. So Tupac Shakur, the passenger, that's the driver, his name is Suge Knight. He was the CEO of Tupac Shakur's label for his records. And he was the driver in this case. Four times. What they're going to tie together is after that alleged altercation, there was a decision to catch up to them, find them in Vegas, and that's how the shooting occurred. So this is actually a picture before the shooting that was taken that night. In 2009, Davis, known as Keefe D, confessed to police a role in the case. A former detective who investigated the shooting, told CNN, but authorities could immediately use the information. So they're saying that about 13 years later, Davis, Dewan Davis, confessed to his role. Okay, but this is 2023, so another 14 years passed, and now they're making an arrest. And then, after what police say was a reinvigorated investigation, Davis, 60, was arrested in Las Vegas on Friday with a grand jury indicting him in the case on charges of murder with use of a deadly weapon. So they did not have a preliminary hearing. They went to a grand jury. They received an indictment for Mr. Davis. The arrest comes some 27 years after the rapper was shot as he was leaving a boxing match on the Las Vegas Strip. The shooting on September 7, 1996, was a retaliatory attack on the 25-year-old star, police said Friday. Authorities allege Davis plotted and orchestrated the shooting in a matter of hours. After the rapper and others attacked Davis's nephew that same day. So that was the altercation that allegedly happened. They do have some video of the altercation, but I still say allegedly because I honestly could not make out Mr. Tupac Shakur. I did see a large man. Mr. Knight is very large body type, like a bodybuilder. There was a large man in the video, but could I honestly say that was Mr. Knight? No. So I'm going to say allegedly. Davis is the only suspect in the case who is still alive, police say. Davis has said in a memoir that he's one of two living witnesses, with the other being a record label boss who was driving Shakur. Over the last 5 years, we've conducted countless interviews and corroborated numerous facts that were not consistent with the crime scene on the night of the incident, but also corroborated and were consistent with the sequence of events that night. Jason Johannesson, a Las Vegas police homicide lieutenant, said during a news conference Friday. Here's what we know about Davis, what led up to the shooting, his indictment and arrest. Davis was the shot caller. Shakur's shooting stems from a conflict between two gangs based in Compton, California, police said Friday. Shakur and Marion Suge Knight, then the CEO of the rapper's label Death Row Records, were affiliated with the Mob Piru gang in Compton, Johannesson said. Davis was affiliated with the Southside Compton Crips, he added. Shakur was in Las Vegas to attend a Mike Tyson boxing match at MGM Grand Hotel, an event that Davis and his nephew, Orlando Anderson, also attended. So basically, you have two alleged gang affiliations at the same event. So when you have people in proximity that is close that have some strife, you definitely could have something like this be explosive. And that's what happened, allegedly. Excuse me. After the match, members of Death Row saw Anderson near elevator bank inside the hotel. Approached him and began kicking and punching him, Johannesson said Friday during the news conference, where he showed hotel surveillance footage of the altercation. Shakur and Knight were visible among the men who attacked Anderson. I couldn't put them out, but they probably watched this video over 20, 25 years, and they picked them out back then. So you can watch the video. Both crews left the hotel after the fight, with Shakur and his group headed to a post-fight party at a nightclub. When David the attack of his nephew, Davis began to devise a plan to obtain a firearm and retaliate against Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur, Johannesson said. After securing a gun from a close associate, Davis got into a white Cadillac with Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Anderson, Johannesson said. While in the car, Davis handed the gun to the passengers in the rear seat. Excuse me, I'm still sick, as you can see. I apologize. So he handed the gun to the passengers in the rear seat of the vehicle. Eventually, the group tracked down the car Shakur drove alongside their black BMW, and gunshots were fired from the Cadillac into the BMW, striking Shakur 4 times. The rapper died 6 days later. Dwan Davis was the shot caller for this group of individuals that committed this crime. He orchestrated the plan that was carried out to commit the crime. Anderson and Smith were both in the back of the Cadillac, according to the indictment against Davis, but it does not specify who pulled the trigger. Anderson denied involvement in the killing to CNN before his death in 1998. Knight is in prison on a manslaughter charge in an unrelated case. Excuse me. In a 1998 interview with BET, Davis said he was in the front seat of the car from which the shots were fired. Going to keep it for the code of the streets, Davis replied when asked who pulled the trigger. It just came from the back seat, bro. Then, more than a decade later, Davis confessed to police a role in the shooting in 2000, said Greg Caddy, a former police detective who investigated the case. But his statement could not be used as evidence because it was made under a proffer agreement. Caddy told CNN on Friday. A proffer agreement is an agreement in which a suspect agrees to provide potentially useful information in an investigation, but the statements made generally cannot be used as evidence against the suspect. Additionally, a memoir penned by Davis, a copy of which was seized in July during a police search of the Nevada home of Davis's wife, describes Davis and Knight as the only 2 living witnesses to Shakur's shooting. Item seized in the July search. During the search of the home, police seized several tablets, an iPhone, and 5 computers. Authorities also took USB and hard drives, photographs, and a copy of a magazine issue about Shakur. At the time, police were looking for notes, writings, ledgers, and other handwritten or typed documents concerning television shows, documentaries, YouTube episodes, book manuscripts, and movies concerning the murder of Tupac Shakur. An affidavit requesting a search warrant stated. The decades-old case gained renewed focus in 2018, particularly because Davis was talking about it publicly and the emergence of new information, officials said. Davis' own admissions to his involvement in this homicide investigation that he provided to numerous different media outlets helped lead the investigation. Davis participated in a 2018 Netflix documentary on the Shakur homicide and released his memoir in 2019. He began to go out publicly, boast about his involvement in the murder, and that led to law enforcement in Las Vegas taking another look at his claims, and ultimately, he talked himself right into jail, Kenny, the former detective, told CNN. This was likely our last time to take a run at this case to successfully solve the case and bring forth a criminal charge, Johansson said. So he literally continually talked about the investigation, about the case, about the events, and about what happened. And he placed himself there. And like they said, in Las Vegas and Nevada and many states, you don't have to have the actual weapon and be the shooter to be a part of a group that plans it, and you're there and you're supporting that act. You can be charged. If he did not probably continue to talk about it, and as they wrote boast, maybe this would have just gone away and not come up, because it's been almost 30 years. And I don't think a lot of people were still pressing for someone to be arrested. If they knew this information in 1998, again in 2009, they could have acted on it, right? The information hasn't changed. The facts haven't changed. It's just the continually bringing it up, writing a memoir, doing press, put that target on himself. And because the laws are such that you can be charged being a participant and you didn't have to pull the trigger, they can also charge you with murder. And also because the other three occupants in the car where the shots were fired from, they're all deceased. They want to hold somebody accountable. So they've arrested him, and I'm sure they're going to use his own words and his own appearances and videos and movies and possibly more that was written against him in court. That's why when you read your Miranda rights, it's a warning that anything said can be used against you later. Most attorneys, most people generally know you do not have to provide a statement, you do not have to answer questions. You have a right to remain silent. That means you don't want to say anything, you don't want to answer questions, you don't want to give facts, you don't want to place yourself there. You want to say anything about the events or that you have knowledge of, you just remain silent. Make the prosecutor, the state, prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Place me there. Show that I did this. Place the gun in my hand. Put me at the crime scene during the time of the crime on video. Things like that. So justice delayed, definitely justice delayed for the Shakur family, for Tupac's mom, who was involved in his music after his passing, his family. So let's just say rest in peace to Mr. Shakur, and we wish him, his family, the best. So they have found some closure in this arrest and in this cold case, and I'm sure this is resounding all throughout the United States that they have finally arrested a suspect. I think this had been known. The street part of it is, you do not want to snitch, you do not want to turn state's evidence, give facts, and pick out who the shooter is. So a lot of people were going to be silent, have been silent for decades, right? For years on this case. But law enforcement has decided to pull the trigger and make this arrest and move to prosecute Mr. Davis. So I still feel like it's some justice denied, because the others, potential suspects, they have already passed away. The one they cited being killed in some gun violence, so it was gang related. So I hope you enjoyed this update about an arrest in the Tupac Shakur shooting murder. I want you to check out many of my other videos. Check those out also. I hope you enjoy this beautiful Saturday. It's so nice out, so sunny. It's rare to have this nice, beautiful weather. Moving into October, but we have it, so let's take advantage of it, right? So enjoy your day. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. And thanks for checking out my video. Be safe, be smart, be savvy. Bye, friends. Be well. Bye, friends. Take care.